reason.
What was the reason?
I had a reason.
What was the reason? What was the reason?
I just explained the reason.
What was the reason?
I don't need to explain myself to you.
What was the reason?
Welcome to another episode of J Inclusive. Please share, like, comment, subscribe, and set your notifications on so you are alerted every time I upload. Shout out to my trans sis for being in the intro. I wanted to give commentary in regard to this conversation, but this video is already an hour long, and there's so much to unpack, some of which I've discussed in previous videos. What I will say is this: acceptance comes from within. We can't preach acceptance and inclusivity as our mantra when battling heteronormativity, while internally harboring segregation and discrimination. It's always something within marginalized communities. And yes, we can blame dominant society for creating this division, but it's us who have continued to carry on their ignorance. The following videos are essentially presented as they were originally posted to social media. Please sound off in the comments and get the discussion going.
So y'all, there is a new wave of energy that is going on within the LGBTQ plus IA community that's got me feeling a little uncomfortable. And it's the annexation of the T and everything else after LGB. I've been seeing a lot of content lately, lesbians, bi, and gay people proclaiming, I'm an old school gay. All I want is marriage equality, be able to adopt kids, equal protection under the government, right to marry, insurance, anti-discrimination, and to be left alone. Don't lump me in with the trans QIA plus when those people over there want gender fluidity, pronoun changing, and all these other radical things. And so for me, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm an old school gay too. You know what I'm saying? There are moments where I feel like the younger LGBTQ plus community has been doing way too much and has been trying to take society way too fast. But then again, there are people that can say that's ignorant. You know what I'm saying? That progress is a good thing. I don't really know how to feel about all of that. But here is what I do know I feel succinctly. I don't know if I can get down with members of the LGBTQ plus community being so quick to annex the TQIA plus people. I just don't know that I'm behind that. I just don't know that I'm behind that. It's giving pick me energy. It's giving, hey, dominant society, I'm the type of gay person that can fit in with y'all and not cause any anxiety or strife. So pick me and I'm going to help y'all turn against the rest. Okay? For the record, and I may catch some flack for this, for the record, out of my mouth, and I stand 10 toes down on this, I do think that there are certain pockets of trans people, certain pockets of gay, lesbian, liberals, progressives, these younger generation. I do think that there are certain pockets of them that are doing way too much. I do. And I'm not going to spend the time right now to define what way too much is, but I will say, y'all kind of it up for all of us when y'all was doubling down and tripling down on this pronoun bull. Okay. That really is what got them folks over there all upset. All right. They was moderately upset when y'all started all shit with these pronouns and these, all the genders don't. You kind of did a little too much and fucked it up for everybody. However, I still love you. I still support you. And I still am going to rally behind you and protect you. But for the other members of the LGB, I just don't know that it's right. Despite the fact that I feel like some of the TQIA plus has been doing too much, I just don't think the right move is for the LG and the B to separate from the TQIA plus. I just don't think that's the right move. I think that that's infighting on our part. I think that that's going to cause our community to implode. I think that the LG and the B maybe need to sit down with the TQIA plus and we need to get all on the same page. But I don't think signaling to the dominant society, oh, we're the gays that know how to fit in with y'all, so leave us alone and we're going to turn on the TQIA plus because we believe, I don't think that's the right move. So before you decide to jump on this movement, because here's the thing, while you around here creating this hierarchy amongst the LGBTQ plus A, I, Z community, thinking, oh, I'm LG and I'm B, so I'm better than trans TQIA plus. You need to understand something. When it is all said and done, we are all to them. We are all to them. Okay, so while you doing the most, trying to fit in over here, please understand you never gonna fit in. And there are strength in numbers. So think about what you're doing before you decide to jump on this movement of I'm LGB and I want to annex and separate from the TQIA plus. There is power in numbers. Please don't get it twisted. Please don't think because you can go to work and blend in or because you can go play softball with the straights that they don't think any otherwise. So be careful. That's all I got to say.
Shook a little table, got the girls a little upset when I was calling out your performative activism because you want to speak up whenever somebody has wronged you in the LGBT community, Craig. People want to be selective with their outrage. I saw folks was outraged. You know, Tamar is thinking that she's, you know, at a gay function and, you know, girl, you know, this and that, and she's saying the things or whatever. And they wanted to use that moment, I think, to make an example out of Tamar. And got really heated. But my thing is, girl, sit your ass down. You the same person talking about how confused you are to use they, them pronouns. Sit down. This is exactly what I be talking about when butch queens have typically been the weakest link when it comes to standing with trans people in solidarity. It's so many examples I lose count of how many times being an ally is just too hard, too confusing for y'all. I'm not talking about the cis straight people. I'm talking about the Craigs. I'm talking about people who go and organize trying to remove the T from the LGBT. Yeah, I'm talking about y'all. I'm talking about y'all who are telling trans women that they have to perform femininity and that they should shave before they end up trying to walk into a women's bathroom. But ain't nobody telling Barbara that she gotta shave. And Barbara's beard is natural. And Barbara's a cis woman. But now they are stopping cis women at that bathroom. Because they're not performing femininity like that. Because y'all want to still play devil's advocate. Y'all want to still play in the sand. Y'all want to still be the cute accessory with the famous straight girls. You want to be with the Tamars and blah, blah, blah. But when you want to get mad when they don't understand the T. And they are like, well, girl. And they want to play. Now they want to kiki. They want to kiki too, just like you want to kiki about the trans girls. Oops. All of these terminologies, all of this is about relationships. So let's get this down. If you don't have an intimate relationship with someone, then you need to ask how they want to be addressed. Point blank, period, end of story. So stop it with all this performative activism. Because if we're going to call the girls out, then we're going to call all the girls out. Then we're going to get all of us free. Because it's time. I'm ready. Are y'all ready? Are we really ready to set us all free? Because I'm with you. I think that folks need to be careful when trying to use that word girl as a pejorative term at gay men. I absolutely believe that. But girl, I'm going to tell you to sit your ass down if you're not one of the ones that's like that across the board. Because sometimes y'all girls need to be called girls so you can be reminded that they don't like you just like they don't like me. We part of the same community. Like Jay-Z said, you still a... Well, girl, you still a girl. Girl, girl, girl.
You hold my feet to the fire about giving my opinion about how I feel about things, but then you get on this platform and say what the fuck you want to say, and then you want my sister to hold me accountable about my opinion when you're doing the same thing, and I'm just confused about that.
Okay, well, let me clarify some things for you. He about to clarify. He about to clarify.
No, I'm tripping.
No, he about to...
Because it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. But the difference is I'm the invalidated one.
You're in your feelings now.
To criticize me and make it seem like I'm being shady and nasty, and when that is not the case. Come on, Craig. I'm just stating my opinion like you do.
Now wait, sister, wait. Now tell the sister you like it. Now you do like it.
I do.
And I like you. And I like you.
So what is the difference between what we do?
Okay, here's what I want to say. Hold on, y'all let my two sisters have their one day conversation. Not too much, bitch.
Let me say this. First and foremost, it is not my intention to try to tear you down in front of these people.
Are you sure?
I want you to listen and not interrupt. I didn't interrupt you.
You did.
I just want you to listen.
I did.
I just want you to listen and not interrupt.
But you interrupted me, but that's okay.
Did I?
You did.
Okay, sister, let him get his point across now. Come on, Craig.
It should be in front of all these people.
Okay, I'm not going to let you finish, and then I want to say what I want to say.
Girl, say it.
Don't give me girl, because I didn't disrespect you.
You sure you got your titties out?
Don't give me girl. If you give me girl, if you give me girl, I'm going to cross the line. And what I said.
Now, sister,
No, you're treading in the water of disrespect. Well, I'm trying not to go there with you. I'm trying not to go there with you. And so what I was going to say,
sister, let him get it out.
This is a part of what I was saying about you on the show. I said on the show, if you and I were friends in real life, I said you and I have a rapport. We've talked on Instagram. But if you and I were friends in real life, these are the things that I would say to you, because for me, in my real life, and I have real friends here in the audience, I can't be friends with you if I can't be honest with you. And so I'm not.
Wait, let him finish, sister.
The problem is, you don't like constructive criticism.
Bitch,
You see, now it's girl, now it's bitch. Now if I cut you up in here, then it's a black man tearing a black woman down. If I put you up in here, then it's a black man tearing the black woman down. You can't even listen constructively. You can't even listen. I didn't go wrong. Okay. If you listen to the room, they're on my side, not yours. Okay. Well,
hold on. Let's go.
If you listen to the room, they're on my side, not yours.
This is what we're going to do. We will talk about this afterwards, but
No, we don't need to talk about it.
No, we do. You know why?
No, we don't. Because I tried to give her an opportunity.
No, you know why? Because what
This is the only time that I'm going to address y'all or any other butch queen that has a problem or any other lesbian that has a problem. Because any of y'all that are a part of the LGBT community that believe that trans people are the problem have gotten lost in the sauce and drank the Kool-Aid of white supremacy that has told you that if you get rid of us, that y'all will be safe. And we all know that that ain't true. So while I know that y'all have y'all thoughts and y'all feelings, please don't let these people get fucked up. Because if nobody else ain't gonna fight for community, that T is gonna fight for community. Because when nobody else wants to get up there and legislate, Chase Strangio gets up there and does his thing. The trans lawyers at the ACLU get up there and do their thing. The Transgender Law Center gets up there and does their thing. So while y'all are talking about removing the T from the LGBT, imagine what would happen if those major organizations that win major cases for the LGBT community as a whole stop giving a fuck about the LGB and just focused on the T issues. A lot of y'all LGBs would be out here looking real stupid when you could have just been real respectful. Think about it. A lot of y'all lost y'all favorite piece of trade to a non-binary person or a trans woman, and you can't stand us ever mother since. Because in your mind, you cannot compute, it does not make sense how the fuck somebody who looks like Ving Rhames in a wig, who just popped them on yesterday, could dare make somebody who you were having sex with leave what you had going on. And you believe that somehow, in some way, in some shape or form, that you are better than trans people. You believe that we don't have the right to ask for basic decency. You believe that we don't have the right to ask for people to respect our pronouns. Y'all believe that trans people should shut the up and just take whatever is happening to us. And when we don't, and when we have the ability to articulate why we don't want to accept those things, y'all are really impressed because you can't read us into the floor about being unarticulate. You can't read us into the floor about not having valid points. You can't read us into the floor about not being able to draw conclusions that are both historic and social about why these things are horrible. And what I want folks to understand, what I want folks to see is that all of our freedom and all of our liberation is linked. I cannot go around saying I don't see it for gay boys. They're too promiscuous. They give the LGBT community a very bad rap because everybody thinks that the entirety of the LGBTQ community is out here sucking and doing all of this crazy shit because all of these gay men, all they do is go to these sex parties and dance around and smoke and snort poppers and each other all day. It does me a disservice to disenfranchise one part of the community because I don't like a facet of that community. Not every gay man does that. Not every trans woman really cares about pronouns. Not every non-binary person cares about pronouns. But there are enough people that do, that allow me and put me in a space where I say that this is something that I want to learn, not even just because it's a community thing, but because as a person, I want to do right by people. Why can't we just want to do right by other people? I don't have to understand why some people want to sag their pants to just respect the fact that that's their swag, that's their style. I don't have to understand why some people want to shave their eyebrows off to understand and respect that that's just their style. I don't have to understand why some trans girls want to get titties out to here. That's her business. But as long as you're being respectful to me, I have no reason to go out of my way to try to justify disrespecting you because what you're doing is not something that I would personally do. And a lot of y'all want to justify your horrible behavior and your horrible takes on trans and non-binary people with education and or lack thereof around the lived experiences of trans people while also being in community with some of the most popular and biggest trans people in the industry. If it were not for a trans woman who demands that people respect her pronouns, Craig, do I have to say it? Dineva, yes, you were a movement on your own, but y'all were a force when y'all were together. The power of the Maddie mob helped to amplify you. So do I need to say it to either one of y'all? As y'all both sat on platform with one of the largest trans voices in the globe. Let me be very clear. Madison is no longer a national celebrity. She's a global phenomenon as it pertains to the TGNC community.
I watched Hope's video just this morning because people were like, girl, what's going on? I was like, what are y'all talking about? Anyway, I watched Hope's video. I watched Angelica's podcast thing, whatever. And there were a lot of valid points made from each person's video. But there were also things that were left out from, my perspective of, I think that when the girls see me sit next to someone, they think that I just let things go by and they're unchallenged or whatever, or from what I was gathering from both of those girls' videos, I don't think that they think I'm smart enough or I have the mental capacity to handle, challenges that are thrown in my face or whatever. I don't know. I will say this to speak to this part of the educated girls, the educated, like the ones that, they love the education and the degrees and all this stuff. And we love a very smart girl. We're very grateful for an educated trans person. I've been smart enough as a black trans woman living in the United States of America, smart enough to amass, to be, a girl of a very much so multi-million-dollar status, I've been able to do that. I've been smart enough to do that. I've been smart enough to sit at the head of at the executive tables to command the way that my life is going to be patterned out. I've been smart enough to do that. And I've also been smart enough to maneuver through the spaces where girls, Angelica and other girls, have occupied spaces and, have gate kept and have, kept me on the other side of a place, and smiled at me and with me. And so I've been smart enough to maneuver myself through to get beyond and past that. And I've also been smart enough to reach back, hope, and make sure that I don't do the same things in those spaces when I get into those spaces. So I made sure that I've been smart enough to reach back and get my sisters and nieces who needed opportunities to make sure that they get their first steps in mainstream media. I love all my people because we are in a space of, I just want to say this too while I'm here. All of the grand girls, we need you to give up one of your properties. I'd like for all the grand girls, I'm calling all the grand girls to the mark, all the television accolade girls, all the girls that have these degrees and these smarts, give up one of your homes. Let's all do this as girls that are, because I'm not smart enough. I'm not educated enough. Let's give up one of our properties. How about we do that? How about we give up one of our properties and let's do what the dumb girl is doing. How about we all get together and we all buy another property together and we continue the starter house things going around in a circle? Or you just give up one of your properties that you have. How about we do that? I want you to understand that you guys think that whatever happens with Craig and however Craig's views and opinions is, whatever his views and opinions are, like that I'm like on the bandwagon of it. I've challenged Craig many times and will challenge Craig over and over and over again. The unfortunate part about the situation is when people say, well, I don't watch the show, I haven't watched the show. Well, then you've missed the challenges and you're only getting the clips. You're only getting the subtotal. You're not getting the full total. And that's okay. Or people that say you don't challenge your friend Dineva with this and the other. I've most definitely challenged my friends when it comes, because at the beginning, middle, and end of the day, I'm black. You've heard me say on countless times that, and I know that shave thing, Angelica, I think that was for me. I don't know. It could have been because I did say about shaving. But I also, in the same breath, said, I don't invalidate anyone's trans identity or non-binary identity. I said them to be mindful of the way that the world, the optics of the world that we live in, because the world, we haven't had the opportunity to really change the world completely how we're working on trying to change, or just trying to get the world to be accepting of what we are and who we are. I've said countless times that I'm not invalidating your identity as a trans person or a non-binary person. What I'm saying is be mindful of the spaces that you get ready to occupy. If you go in the bathroom and you have a beard from ear to ear, you don't think anyone's going to look at you strange. Even us as trans people walking into spaces, we have stepped back twice and we've looked at things, but we're like, okay, we don't understand. You already know that there's a lot of propaganda that goes around with us as trans people. Oh my God. You already know that there's a lot of propaganda that goes around with us and things. So I'm always, yes, I may joke and I may have fun and I might, have a good time. But I'm definitely for my people. Never forget, I'm dark brown, dark skin, light skin, beige, fluorescent beige, bitch. I'm black. Let's never forget that. But we can't, can we? I don't like when people have my phone number and they have a small grievance with myself or some slight with anything. My phone number's been the same for 30 years. Yes, I've lived a long time. I'm close to 50. I was smart enough to maneuver through and survive that. AIDS and prostitution and trade and all the things. I was smart enough to maneuver through and make that happen and to amass a fortune are smart enough to do that. I don't like the notion that I'm like a dumb girl, you know, because I'm many things in this world, but dumb is not one of them. Dumb is not one. I've never been dumb. I've been smart enough to outsmart the degreed. I've been smart enough to outsmart the degreed girls, and the girls that they can't figure it out because they're so smart, but yet they have no reach. Arms are long, but you have no reach. I've had the opportunity to stand next to girls stand next to and with girls who have thought that I was floor trash and wasn't supposed to be in the rooms. I'm smart enough to do that. I'm smart enough to make an impact on this earth, on this globe. I'm smart enough to do that. When some girls are still trying to figure out, how do I get in? I was smart enough to do that. And smart enough to amass a fortune. Ain't that something? Again, let's get back to the place. How about all of my elite, smart, degreed, educated girls? Let's give up one of your properties. Let's give up one of them. Selfless. No money attached. No gain. Was actually going to be quiet about it and wasn't going to say a word to the public, but was told that I need to speak up so that this can be something that can start a movement. How about we do that? You know, we as trans people are not going to always be in unison with the things that we and how we feel and everything. We're not going to always be in unison. But what we will do and what I will do, and this is why I'm not even in a tone of like this place, because I was watching these videos and I was just like, well, Madison, how do you respond? You know, everybody thinks that I'm going to always respond in this place or whatever. I'm not, because these are people that I love, and I love them with the same, you know, breath that I had yesterday. But these are people that I love and respect and honor, revere, reverence. And I've championed even when some didn't champion me. It just gets to a point where no matter what you do, or you're never going to be able, you're never going to do enough. And I understand the way that things are going on in this administration and in this political climate that we're in right now. I understand currently now, you know, that tensions are high and everything that every conversation that we have is important. And that's why when I sit on talk and I joke and have a good time, I know that my audience reaches a mass of people. And I know that I've tried to do my best from what I can and where I can to educate even with my not being very smart, to educate my mass of people that are following me, to understand the issues of trans people, to understand the where Black trans people are in the world. And there are many people that can attest to following me for almost 2 decades, the change that they've come in their heart or in their families, or how I've helped bring families back together because of the relationship that I've had with my mom. You know, all these things that I've lived my life ups and downs in front of people, and the accountability that I've taken from, you know, the mistakes that I've made. Even when I set up and I've talked about how that I was one of those people who felt as a trans person that I was not who, when it came down to the Kaya, I felt that I was one of the people that she wasn't talking about. That when she was saying, I've said this on countless times. I've even occupied major spaces and have said this, like, I made a mistake. I made a mistake and thought that this person cared for me or loved me when they were saying transphobic or homophobic things and stuff like that. I thought that they weren't talking about me. And I've shared these experiences. I've talked about these experiences. I've talked about these things and took accountability and where them, you know, and I've said that when I've gotten into it with other trans girls, yes, I have read them down to the floor and said some vile things back to them. But bitch, I'm fighting. When I'm fighting niggas, bitch, I'm fighting niggas with all the strength I got, bitch. Angelica, there was a time that I don't think that you knew about when one of those girls, one of those stalker fan girls, because I didn't respond to an inbox She became belligerent. I think that's the word, since I'm really not that smart. Belligerent with me. And, you know, she felt like that she had ownership, that I should see her, And so she went on a tirade of making videos and shit about me or whatever. And then she made this assumption. I remember we were out of town and I was getting a message saying that I was stalking some girl. I'm like, why would I stalk a broke bitch? What reason would I have to be stalking a broke bitch? I'm getting to my bag. Why would I stalk a bitch that's broke and late and has said these vile things about me and then putting out that I'm trying to hurt? And the word under the, because, you know, I get all the word under the street. It's just a lot of things I don't address. You over there saying you're going to handle that. None of you girls have the capacity to handle me. For the record, none of you girls have the capacity to handle me. I don't give a fuck what position or what seat you may sit in. You don't have the capacity to handle me. That goes from the top of the food chain, which is Laverne, to whoever else, down to bottom of me. You don't have the capacity to handle me. You don't have the strength to handle me. I am an omega force. Omega. You don't have the strength to handle me. And so when I heard that, I asked my girlfriend, like, so who's supposed to get handled? Everybody got my phone number. Everyone has my telephone number. Everyone has my this, because I've always been open and you know, loving, but you don't have the range to handle me. I don't care how many degrees and education and spaces and places that you've held. You don't have the strength to handle the TS at all. I'm not a line that you want to walk. I'm omega level. The best thing that could have been done is to call me and communicate and ask me what happened. But to handle me? I'd like to see it. I would have loved to see it. And though we live in this climate right now, where we all need to be in unity, because we must, it's important for us to be in unity. Ain't nobody ain't nan gonna handle me. N-A-N-N, ain't nan gonna handle me. They got titties at the top or whatever you got at the bottom. You ain't gonna handle me. I'd like to see it. Now, I don't have any problems with anybody. And my love still runs deep to the ground and, you know, to the floor with all of my trans siblings, my sisters, my trans brothers. I don't want any division amongst us. I don't want any division amongst us. I don't want any separation, because now is the time that we need to be standing on the sun together. Now is the time that we need to be holding hands. This administration, this regime, and the perils that we have coming to us is crazy. And this is the time we need to be standing together most. When the Butch Queens say that they want to separate the tea, when that video surfaced from Dineva, I was one of the first under there stating that there's no way possible that you could move the tea, because the tea is the reason why you're able to suck dick. The tea is the reason why you're able to have pride. The tea is the reason why, bitch, the revolution started with the tea. No, Craig, I'm gonna tag you in, and I need to get this out, because I just need to, because this is things that I see. I'm the type of girl, because I love people so much, I see the slights and the jabs and the things, and I overlook it. I overlook it because I'm like, no, I don't want to get it. I don't want to wallow down in it. I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to address stuff like that. I don't want to argue. I don't want to be at the tone. I don't want to do that, because these are people that I love. When I don't fuck with you, bitch, you gets it. You gets the bottle bust on the ground and it's up. But when I love you, or I fuck with you, I have reverence for you, I try my best to just be like, okay, this is their opinion. I'm not going to say anything. And the mob be messaging me through every place, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, saying, hey, do we need to mobilize? I'm like, no. Let everybody have, I'm not above reproach. I'm not above critique. I'm not above that. Allow me, because I watch it and then I learn from some of the things after I watched it and be like, okay, maybe I could have, and here's me being transparent. Okay, maybe I could have handled that better, or maybe I shouldn't have said that, or whatever, or I'm going to do better in this space, or whatever. I've learned so much. Even with me being older. Because here's what people got to understand. We're in a body that's going to age. Yes, I'm an older trans, very much so older, but I'm not above learning. How many times have I said I don't understand the non-binary thing? However, I'm going to respect everybody. I'm not going to invalidate. I don't understand it, and then I've moved from not understanding it to teaching. Saying I had to learn when I was on the set of the show how to maneuver through the non-binary. I said I got it now. I understand. You know. And so I just, this is why I'm handling this with a lot of, because this is not from a place of whatever. This is a place of love. But I also still have undertones of, things that I've been gathering and little under the table conversations that we girls have amongst. And whatever I say under the table around, I will say it to any girl's face. So if anybody brought back any under the table thing, I will either say yay or nay, I said it. I'll say yay or nay, it was said. I don't have a problem with that. In your face. You know this. Because I could get irate, but I don't want to. Especially with all the things that I've heard, the side conversations that I've heard that a lot of these people have said about me, like the little side under the table conversations that I've received, and then I'll be like, oh, that was interesting. And I don't know whether they're true or not, but I still don't indulge in it. I'm open and still whatever. I just feel like, oh, okay, well, all right, cool. Okay, well, maybe I did say something to make them feel that way. Well, all right, well, they'll call me or whatever. And then I see little stuff that I just be like, I don't kind of like that. Or I watch it and be like, I can learn from that. I could learn something from that. But then it's the others that said that they were going to handle something. I don't get in that. But I just wanted to get that through. We are going to do talk. I'm not going to stay on that stuff, because obviously nobody watches the show from my understanding. And that's okay, because there are parts that you miss, especially parts that come down to me holding my friend accountable, or my friend holding me accountable, or things that we've discussed. I know that we are all supposed to be one voice and one sound, but it's not going to happen because, again, there were parts. You say you seen Angelica Ross' Instagram, and she was definitely trying to get a moment when she came for Craig. Well, there were things that she was saying in there about, but she couldn't. I don't think that she should have added Craig as like that. Craig is the moniker or the face of the this. There are things that we have stated on our show that may not have been. The peel may not didn't go down correctly, but I've held my friend Craig to the fire for things like, Craig, this and the other, and we've collectively disagreed on stuff, and it's just the fact that I don't like them thinking that they they have I've just not checked my friend, like I've not checked my friend, or not checked him, or not have called my friend in, called him in. And there are plenty of times that we've been live shows, I've called my friend in and been like, girl, I don't like the way that this is going on. And that Tamar moment that happened, that was a moment that happened and it went on. And that was a great way to segue, to use an example. I got it. It was allowed. It was just the tone of, I'm not smart, or performative activism, stuff like that. I was just like, now Craig didn't say he was an activist. And I never really claimed to be an activist, bitch. I just happened to be a voice that got thrown into it. And so I said, okay, well, let me lean into fighting for my people. Let me do that. Let me lean into fighting for my people, because I know that my voice is being. In a space where you occupy public office or public position, you're not going to do everything right. You're not going to do everything perfect. So this is why I don't get mad all the time at criticism that I receive. I don't always get mad. I feel a way when people have my phone number, because that's when it becomes performative. You have my phone number. When we speak about performative, that's when you have my phone number. Because there's no way that I'm going to cause a rift in thought for public space when I'm having discussions about my friend. You got it? You understand what I'm saying? When I have my friend's number or colleague or girlfriend that I can pick the phone up and be like, hello, how y'all doing? That's when it becomes performative. when we start using these words that I'm not smart enough to really understand. Because the girls were kind of leaning to the fact that I'm not smart, or I'm not educated enough to, or maybe it wasn't me. Maybe I was reading too deep into it, but I did feel like that was like, I'm like, where is this me? Because am I the ratchet one that they just, I don't know. I don't know. I was just like, was it me? And am I not the, give me that one right there. Thank you. I don't know. Oh my God. Thank you. And what shows your intelligence that I'm always willing to learn all the time. But that bathroom, I know that shaving stuff was definitely for me, because I have definitely had my conversations about the shaving. I was definitely talking about shaving. I remember me saying it. But I also remember me in the same breath saying, ma'am, we as a collective, as trans and in the Labiquita community, we know what you're saying. We know what you are. We believe this. I believe this. But you put yourself in harm's way when you step out into society, and because we have not completely changed societal norms. We're working on implanting the thoughts on respecting and the other, but we haven't changed societal norms. So be mindful that you can put yourself in danger with a beard from here to here. And because I'm old school, and also not just old school, but I'm old school with my arms open to learn. But I'm old school in the fact of the women that I and the slew of girls, when we were transitioning, we looked to that and those as the women that we wanted to look like, and none of them had a fucking beard from here to here. None of them. So miss me with that. No, don't do this to Hope. No, don't do this to Hope, and don't do this to Angelica. Don't do this. I'm just meeting everybody on the line where they met us. So don't do this. These are my sisters. These are my nieces. But I have questions about a couple of things. I had questions about stuff. Craig, I've said this to you 50,000 times. I don't know I haven't been
At least a month.
so I don't know where any of this stuff comes from. I don't know where you've been, what you said. I've been out here trying to get this starter house thing together. I don't know what the fuck that you done been. I don't know what you've said or done. But what I do know is when there's places, when there are nouns involved, people, places, and things, when there are nouns involved, bitch, you check me, or no, you call me in, because you
Right.
call me in, and I call you in. We sit next to each other. I do not agree with the things that you say about this and the other. I don't
About the
agree with a lot of your.
non-binary thing.
I do not. I
And
have
we've
never
talked, and,
agreed.
and it truly is okay. It truly is okay. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna really sink my teeth in this when we get back on Phag Twalk, bitch, because I want the masses to know. And when I sit up and I'm talking like this, I'm talking to you, Angelica, and I'm talking to you, Hope, because both of you had my name in your mouth for no apparent reason. Part of the reason that I take issue with both of them is because, one, with Angelica, she didn't reach back to some shit that happened in New York City back in February. Bitch, it's almost May.
Yeah, but I understood. Listen, here's me playing devil's advocate. I understood the way she weaved that into the conversation. That was let me do this. That was very smart of her.
Well, help me understand what she weaved in,
Well,
because
she weaved in the conversation about the pronouns, and see, this is how we do on the show.
this is what we do on the
Well, that,
show. Go ahead, I'm listening.
well, unfortunately, Hope, you don't really get to the end, and that's okay. This is what we do on the show.
Right.
I'm finna go to the mall. I was just trying to see who said they're gonna handle you.
Nobody said they was gonna handle me. No. This was some under the. No, this was under the table conversation with a girl. You remember that girl that girl that was stalking me, and then she was over there telling people that somebody was trolling her in her comments, and so she
gonna handle you?
no, she was saying that I doxed her, and that I did some kind of stuff to her while we were out of the country. We was out of the so well, and so she tagged Angelica, and Angelica was in it. Like instead of calling her the bitch that she know, she was this new girl was saying that she was being harassed and this and the other. Because I don't mind who I get get it on the floor with when I need to. And so I got word that the girl was saying that's why I never called and asked her because I was like, nah, she couldn't be saying she was gonna handle me, and I'm on the lie. She couldn't be saying that she was gonna handle me. Nah, I know she's from Chicago, but I'm from Dade. It wasn't you. It wasn't me. It couldn't have been. About a bitch that's stalking me and trying me. You're a star, you're a celebrity. You know these fans will try to attach themselves to you to get a click in the view niece. Excuse me, sis. You know this.
Let me
Hold on,
say
Craig.
this.
Let me get this out.
Oh,
You were a
you didn't
bigger
get
star.
those out all the time. I've been sitting here waiting.
You were a bigger star before me, girl. So you know how this works.
And see, that's Angelica's problem. But see, I'm gonna sink my teeth into
You
her
were a
when
big
we sit back
star
down.
before me, so you know how this works. You know that this crazy ass girl over here talking about why would I go through Glad or any other program to get your address to dox you? Why would I do that? Make it make sense. And you over here telling who you gonna handle? Oh yes, because the word got under the table. But now we're in the public now, having a public conversation. Here we are now. Who gonna handle me? You gonna handle me? No, I won't be handled. We can sit down and have a conversation, but handling me, Omega level. Phoenix Force. You don't have this. You don't have that. And I love all my sisters, but I love all my sisters, but I would get it on the floor verbally. We're talking about verbally first. Verbally. They don't want one to maximize the snap. I'm just saying. No more muting. You listen. I'm just saying. You better grab that handle in that pot and cook you something to eat. Talking about handling me. You better grab that handle. You better grab that handle on the end of that pot before you talk about handling the TS. No. We would try to figure out what's wrong with this crazy ass mother girl.
Is it my turn?
I'm almost done.
You were supposed to say all your piece before I came on.
But that's why I was telling you I wasn't ready for you. I wasn't ready for you to come on. And see, Flame was over there, and when her and Flame and all that stuff got into it, I was just like, nah. I kept my hoods, my feet. I kept away from all that stuff. But I love Flame, and Flame can burn down. But I'm a silent burner. Flame ain't gonna burn it down, honey, and ain't gonna whatever. But I'm definitely warfare. Now, again, when I watched that video with Dineva, I didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it. There were so many layers of that video that I watched, and I commented up under that video and said what I said under that video because I was just like, bro, like what they talk like? What are we saying here? Like where are we at with this? Craig. Again, as a BQ butch queen is what you are. As a,
Is that what I am?
I guess as a butch queen, there are lots of things and lots of sentiments that I call you in about that you don't have any. Maybe I don't say it with much education. Maybe I layer it with too much laughter, or once it's beyond the laughter, maybe I layer it with anger.
But see, that's part of Hope's problem.
Not,
Her activism,
not
her activism is angry, and she
listen.
would be a lot more effective. She'd be a lot more effective if she didn't think she could strong arm people into. And I'm not even talking about me. She would be a lot more effective in her advocacy if she wasn't so angry.
Well,
But here's the thing. My thing is this, going back to Angelica, and then I'll move on over to Hope. And I'm going to really lay all of this out when we get to talk. Because, like, I'm literally here in Florida minding my business, getting ready for the show tonight. And I get all these messages from some of the popular hot-ass gossipers sending me this podcast that Angelica did. She reaches back to something that happened with me and Tamar, which was a teachable moment, or could have been a teachable moment. And in Angelica's commentary, she said, girl, referring to me multiple times. I don't give a fuck about anybody calling me girl in the sense that it does not hurt my feelings. It's just a boundary that I have set. I simply set a boundary. I don't know you, Angelica, just like I don't know Tamar, so the rules still apply. I don't know you. So it doesn't matter that you are under the LGBTQIA community. I don't know you. And so just like you would not want me to call you boy, sir, him, his, don't play with me in your motherfucking commentary. Because see, what I'm noticing is the Hopes and the Angelicas who think that they're these complete and total voices for the trans community. They think that they get to set the bylaws and the rules for all trans people. You think that you can call butch queens girls and Miss Thing, but then when one of the girls call you sir, him, you don't like being misgendered. Now, even when I am serious, like in this moment, I'm still not going to call you boy, sir, or mister, because I am true to this.
Well,
I'm really about bridging community.
because, and also because they are women.
And I'm not trying to be divisive.
Yeah, and I didn't come on divisive either.
No. But what I'm saying is, like, they purport that they are these trans activists and this, that, and the third, and they're all about community and this, that, and the third. But it's ineffective. It is essentially ineffective if in your commentary, Angelica, and in your commentary, Hope, the one that I just saw today, where you're going to sit there and say, oh, the girls and da-da-da. Like, okay, yes, it's semantics within the community. But when you're trying to call somebody to the carpet and you're using those words, those are fighting words. And we know the difference. We know that you're now using it as a pejorative. Well, but my thing is this, Hope, Angelica, you can police anything that I say, but you can't control me. And you love to sit on your platforms and try to say that we're not a monolith, but in actuality, you want us to move as if we are. You think that I have to adopt your ideas, your ideology about the whole them and they thing with non-binary people? What I said was, then, now, and forevermore, is I respect non-binary people. And we're going to play the clip on the next talk when we sit down, because we've already pulled it. I've already pulled the clip. Thank you, Kayla. Kayla has already pulled the clip of me saying, I believe that non-binary is a thing. I respect non-binary people. I never said, Angelica, that I was confused. I never said that I was confused about that. What I said was, so that I don't misgender a non-binary person, I am going to use their name. Because if a non-binary person presents as a woman, or they present as a man, I don't want to slip and say him if that person is non-binary, if they go by them or they. I'm going to use their name. Because then if I do try to conform and use the them and they and not use their name, and if I slip, then that's going to be a problem. Oh, he's out here intentionally misgendering. No, some of you bitches, Angelica and Hope, you intentionally want to misunderstand and misinterpret people. Some of that shit that you all are coming on these platforms arguing about, that's your family trauma. I have nothing to do with how your family handled you. And Angelica, for you to say the Craigs of the world as if I am the poster child for all of these trans men, transphobic men, transphobic gay men, that was disingenuous. It was divisive, and it makes you a fraud. Because what you need to understand is I have been doing this long before I met Madison. Now, yes, the glow up came when I met this bitch. A lot of you met me when I met this bitch. But I've been writing and producing stage plays since I was 26. Bitch, I will be 49 years old in 2 days. So bitch, while I was writing and producing stage plays, you were probably in the military. You probably hadn't even transitioned yet. So I was doing this before you got here, before you were doing this. And what I'm going to further delve into when we sit back down over there on talk is that what you need to understand is your anger is not with me. Some of you are upset because I am sitting next to her. And secretly, you want that position. I didn't ask for this position. It's just the magic that happened when we sat down. We never decided that we were going to do a show called Phag Talk. Some of you have a problem with the name Phag Talk. Bitch, get over it. Get over it. You are not going to control us. You are not. You can never. You use your platform to do what you do, and we're going to use ours to do what we do. I am hosting Telling Our Stories on June 20th in Atlanta. Angelica, I will sponsor your ticket. I will sponsor your ticket, bitch, because I know money might be a little issue for you right now. I will sponsor your ticket. And at that Telling Our Stories, we're going to talk about all of the things that divide us as a community. I've invited trans people, non-binary people, so that we can really flush out the issues, to really bridge communities. So instead of you all getting in front of these cameras and on these live streams, bring your ass down to the Park Tavern on June 20th. Again, I will sponsor your ticket, Angelica. Hope, since you be twirling around in all of your designer shit, I'm sure you can pay for your own ticket. So instead of coming on your live, don't talk to me on your live. Come talk to me in person on Friday, June 20th. The tickets are already on sale. So let's talk about this in a real way. If you really are interested in bridging communities, if you really are interested in educating people about trans identity and non-binary people, because you're not going to continue to conflate what I've said. And the fact that you tried to tie in something that Funky Dineva said with what I said, that's nasty work. That's nasty work. And when we sit over there on Phag Twalk, there are a lot of things that Madison says because she is trans that I will not say. I barely say trainee. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never said it, but I barely say trainee. Because I know some of you, and I say this all the time on the show, I said, you know what, I'm not going to get into that because I know some of the trans girls are going to feel away. So there are certain things that I don't even say. And back to you, Angelica, the fact that you reached back to some shit that happened 2 months ago about me correcting a cisgender woman about using the wrong pronouns with me, misgendering me, if she had called you boy, you would never turn your live camera off, bitch. You'd still be talking about how Tamar called you him or he or boy, and you'd be trying to rally everybody in the queer community to be on your side, to be in your defense, and to cancel Tamar. I didn't take it that far. I'm not interested in Tamar being canceled. For me, it was just a teachable moment. That's all it was for me. It was not about us trying to get clout or me trying to get clout. Bitch, any clout that, I don't need any more clout. Bitch, this is enough right here. This right here has been enough. I don't need to talk about anybody for clout. Every time we sit down to do talk, every single time that we sit down to do talk, every single video goes viral. So why do I need to go and create a situation with a Tamar? So again, for you to dissect that whole incident and then to make it seem like I was wrong because I didn't want to be misgendered. So then isn't that the cornerstone of everything that you talk about for trans people? Wanting to be respected, hope, and wanting people to use your proper pronouns? So because I'm a gay man that I should be okay with that?
Well, where did this conversation come from about the T being removed? Because we haven't been, Craig, I have not
First
seen
I
you.
heard of that was when Dineva said it.
Was talking.
Right, and
I don't know where none of this stuff came from. Like, I haven't seen you in a month.
that's what I'm saying. We've talked, but we have not seen each other
So I don't
in a
know
month.
where any of this stuff came from, and for me to get up and be like, well, what has happened? And then I look at Dineva's page and I was like, and I commented immediately about trans is the only letter of the the acronym.
And I have said talk.
The only letter that's, well, besides the Q, that's an identity. Like, that's everything else is a sexual orientation.
And the fact, I don't even understand how Hope tied me into her video talking about this trans stuff. So again, she's conflating something that I said about the non-binary thing, and I'm not going to use them or that. I'm still not going to use it.
Well, I am.
And that's fine.
I am.
I'm going to use a person's name.
I am. I'm going to use they, because they and them is not hard.
It's not.
I don't give a fuck what you
it's
say.
Not hard.
It's not. They and them is not hard, Craig.
It's not hard and it's not confusing. But what I'm not going to be is accused of misgendering. So I'm going to use your name.
Okay, great.
And Hope, Angelica, neither one of you can force me to buy into your politics. You cannot. And I'm not interested in jumping on every new thing that the queer community comes up with. I'm not. And if that makes me disrespectful, then so be it.
I'm going to use they and them, she and her. I'm going to do that. Me. Now, at the end of the day, when I talked to you on the way here, the analogy I made is this. Mm-hmm. The analogy I made is your mama named Gladys.
Right.
You may have played here and there and called her
yes.
Gladys.
That's right.
You may have played and called her Gladys, but her pronouns is mama.
That's right.
You know not to play those games. I joke around with Miss Mary and call her Miss Mary, but my mama's pronouns is mama.
That's right. That's right.
She know and even when I'm calling her Mary, I put Miss in front of it out of respect.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm gonna take it a step even further. When I say when we and you joke about Tim,
Mm-hmm.
when me and you joke about Tim, I say put Miss Tim in front of that shit, bitch, because that's a form of respect for me. Miss motherfucking Tim.
And even with our rapport, I don't overuse that.
But here's the thing, I give you permission. When I check another bitch on the outside about that Tim shit, I didn't give you permission to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have permission to do. I don't give a fuck where you see me at. Where you see me talk, I didn't give you permission to do. So if I don't answer to that, or if I tell you, hey, you don't got the right to do that, it's just like when you get to work and your boss tell you that you know your boss name is Fred Hammond, bitch, it's Mr. Hammond.
Right. I really do think that some of these motherfuckers are just upset that talk has become a thing. I really honestly do.
Well, I think no, I don't think it's upset. I think that some of the conversations get very deep and dark, and sometimes there are takes on it that it might. You say, "How was you?" Hold on. You say, "How was your name?" Because I didn't give you permission to call me that. My name is Madison Chanel Renee Hinton. I didn't give you permission to call me Timothy. You don't have permission to do that. One, you ain't a motherfucking bitch I know, and two, you ain't a bill I owe. So I didn't give you permission. It's not about misgender me. You don't have permission to do that. You don't know me to call me that.
The biggest lesson to take away from this is that people need to listen to understand, not just to respond. Funky never said he wanted to remove transgender people from the community. In fact, he explicitly spoke out against that idea. He brought it up because others have been discussing it. And let's be clear, the government has already removed the T from their websites, something I mentioned in a previous video. Craig, in earlier episodes of his and Madison's show, stated that he respects non-binary people. While he won't use they, them pronouns, he will refer to them by their name. Angelica stated that if you don't have an intimate relationship with someone, then you should ask how they want to be addressed. Well, Craig's issue with Tamar was that they don't have an intimate relationship, so it felt improper for her to refer to him as girl or bitch, a sentiment he expressed in that heated clip. Ultimately, everyone was essentially saying the same thing, but because everyone was in defense mode, due to past trauma, ego, or whatever the case, no one was really listening. And more importantly, when you have a point to prove, stick to that one point. Conflating issues and bringing up multiple unrelated topics only muddies the conversation. It leads to bigger arguments that, in the end, fail to address the original conflict. Insulting each other, implying someone is less intelligent, throwing shade, or labeling Craig the king of queens, all of this just distracts from the actual conversation. It shifts the focus from resolution to reaction. These kinds of conversations and discourses will continue within our community. I mean, I constantly see tops versus bottoms, femme versus masculine, and as Black people, we're still debating light skin versus dark skin every single day. At this point, Jesus, I think I'm ready.
Oh my God, you look rather go and party somewhere out in